with 7 and Benue with 53 new cases. Delta State has 39, Borno 30, Enugu 25, Plateau 24, Osun 20, and Abia State has 19. Oyo State has 17, Kaduna 16 new cases, while Kano State has 13. Other states with new confirmed cases are Ebonyi with 13, Ogun 9, Kwara 7, Ondo 6, Gombe 3, Ekiti 2, while Akwa Ibom and Rivers have 1 each. Nigeria has 46,140 confirmed cases, with 33,044 recovered and discharged, while 942 have died of the virus. And the federal government has stressed the need to revive moribund agricultural facilities across the country as a sure way of achieving food security. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Alhaji Sabo Nanono, made this known during the distribution of agricultural palliatives to farmers in Imo State. Kate Osumwa has details.
The global attack of coronavirus on economies of the world did not spare the Nigerian agricultural sector, as farmers were also caught in the web of inactivity created by the COVID-19 lockdown. Determined to alleviate their plight and ensure food security, the federal government is reaching out to farmers in Imo State through this distribution of COVID-19 agricultural palliative. Some of the beneficiaries, including Dr. Vitus Enwerem and Chief Tony Abara, say the scarcity of seedlings and other inputs had been a major setback since the outbreak of COVID-19 and are excited that the federal government has come to their rescue.
It's a good thing that is happening in Imo State today. We need that silos to be functional in Okigwe.
I tracked my own back to farming initiative.
The distribution of the COVID-19 agricultural palliative, according to the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Alhaji Muhammad Sabona Nonu, is one of the measures being adopted by the federal government to end the food shortage created by coronavirus.
It is my pleasure to present you the various input for distribution to farmers as part of my minister's measure to mitigate the effect of COVID on food production in the country.
Governor Hope Uzodimma describes the provision of the palliative as a major boost to his efforts at reviving the agricultural sector in the state.
We are looking into the future of mechanized agriculture. This is going to by our shared authority establish a University of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences.
The agricultural inputs were received by the heads of the farmers' associations to be distributed to members across the 27 local government areas of Imo State. In Owerri, Kate Osumwa, NTA News.
Now recall that markets and other businesses were shut down in Akwa Ibom and other states in Nigeria because of the fear of COVID-19 spreading. Now that markets have reopened, traders have applauded Governor Udom for the gesture. John Paul Alumna reports.
The Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel, in his effort to prevent the spread of coronavirus pandemic in the state, had on May 12, 2020, ordered partial closure of markets, which allowed businesses to take place only on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. This was followed by strict enforcement and compliance with COVID-19 precautionary measures in the markets by traders and buyers. After relaxation of the interstate movement by the federal government and review of the situation by the state COVID-19 management team, the state government has approved the reopening of markets for daily operations. Some Uyo residents and traders in the markets, while commending the state government, expressed the hope that businesses will soon pick up.
The traders that are excited, they are happy. The market have started picking up, so the sales are better now.
It has been very difficult because most times you go to your store in the house, you want to pick one or two things, you find you don't have it. But now that the market is open, if you feel like eating a fresh food, you can actually come by and go back home.
We didn't have things to buy, we did not see things to buy. Because when you want to buy at the roadside, you just appear that you will be jammed down by the car. So now that they have opened the market, I feel very happy.
The traders assured the state government that they will continue to adhere to the safety measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in the markets. In Uyo, John Paul Alumon, NTA News.
Back to health matters now. The federal government is to develop and modernize blood transfusion services in Nigeria with a blood service commission to serve as a ready reserve for the country in time of need. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osagi Ihaniri, said this at the annual strategic health meeting with the National Blood Transfusion Service. Basi Taipang reports.
The minister, who noted that the importance of blood transfusion service in the health system of a country cannot be overemphasized, as it would reduce the high rate of mortality during childbirth.
A number of people are looking for blood transfusion. Where are you going to get it? So if you have a strategic reserve, you have somewhere where you can reach into and be able to take care of mass catastrophe, mass disaster. Good idea.
The national coordinator, National Blood Transfusion Service, shared the challenges and prospects of the service.
Nigerians to voluntarily donate blood. We want to make sure that we have 1 million pints of safe blood reserved at any point in time. And this safe blood can be called upon by the Minister of Health or the President when there's a crisis.
Commercialization of the blood service industry also came to the fore, with the hope that with the population of young people in the country has a pool of donors that will meet global demand for blood, and the commission would be self-sustaining but highly revenue-generating. Basi Taipang, NTA News.
Now, the national body of Nigerian Medical Association has condemned the Enugu State branch election, which took place recently, marred with crisis. Hamman Jabani reports that a three-man committee has been set up to investigate the causes.
On the 6th of August, Enugu State branch election of Nigerian Medical Association was disrupted by thugs that resulted in bloody harm inflicted on many of its members. The national body says it does not reflect the behavior and attitudes of the Nigerian doctors.
While the association appreciates the passion of members and the desire to be actively involved in its activities, including the electoral process across the country, it is instructive to know that as the foremost professional body, we will not tolerate any act of violence and ugly behaviors in whatever form, and therefore what happened in Enugu is totally condemned in its entirety.
To address the situation, a three-man fact-finding committee was set up to, among other things, investigate the immediate and remote causes that led to the disruption of the 2020 Enugu State NMA election, identify those involved in the disruption, and recommend actions to be taken to avoid future occurrence. The committee has 2 weeks to submit its report. The body, however, commended the peaceful elections in the over 20 states where elections were conducted and apologized for the situation in Enugu State branch election. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
We're now moving to Lagos, joining Lagos, where Awal is making his presentation debut and will give us an update on repatriation of 266 Nigerians from the United States. Welcome aboard, Awal. Aboard, Awal.
Thank you so much, Najat. I'm glad to be here. 266 Nigerians stranded in the United States due to the COVID-19 lockdown are back home, while another 282 passengers were evacuated from the United Arab Emirates by the Nigerian government. Amaka O reports that the passengers are now being quarantined for the compulsory 14 days in accordance with the directive of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19.
These are the batch of passengers who boarded the 6th repatriation flights from the United States of America. On their arrival, it is evident that they are taking responsibility for their safety against the dreaded coronavirus. For most of them who have been away long before the lockdown, there is no place like home.
Before I used to travel every 3 weeks, but now I'm there for 5 months. So it makes me to think about how Nigeria is, how other countries are. But the experience is unique. But thank God that we are back home.
It's not easy. It's not funny because my wife and children are in Nigeria.
It was definitely difficult being away from all the things that I'm doing here, but I'm happy to be able to come back.
Similarly, other passengers from Dubai, United Arab Emirates, also have same views with those from the US.
I went to Dubai for a business trip, but to my greatest surprise, the lockdown started. So we've been locked since then.
Government agencies at the airport, however, advise the returnees to self-isolate for a period of 14 days. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the fight against COVID-19 is nowhere close to an end in Lagos, with the number of cases increasing on a daily basis. To win this war, the expectation of government is that individuals will take responsibility for their safety. Hinginu John Adams reports on the attitude of Lagosians towards the virus safety protocols.
The coronavirus pandemic is still ravaging the world, with number of new cases and deaths on the increase. In Lagos, the epicenter of the virus in Nigeria, community transmission is the major cause of the spike. Even with the alarming figures, some Lagosians are not concerned about safety protocols. I have with me Mr. Moses Beacom to tell us more.
For we as a nation to eradicate coronavirus itself, we should do more of washing of our hands, keeping of social distancing, using our face masks.
Why were you not wearing your face mask?
Because I'm tired of wearing it.
Okay, but you know that coronavirus
You see,
if you are learned, you know it exists, although. But these persons here, or these people here in the market, they don't believe in that. They believe it's only God that can save them.
The Lagos state government has increased testing capacity and has taken management of the virus to the community level.
Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
Before we take more reports, let's go for a commercial break.
She cries. She cries in anguish and in pain. She bears the scourge of her grief. She toils in vain for justice and succumbs to silence. He gloats over his malady. Like a beast, he pounces with no remorse. Her cry means nothing. Her pain feeds her shame. Like an orphan, she's left to grieve in solitude. But no more will she cry in vain. Her adversaries will henceforth bear the brunt of their cruelty. Rape is evil. Rape is a plague, a pandemic of monumental consequences. We must unite and kick it out of our society.
Connect with NTA and stand against rape and rapists. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online, or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
It's nice to know you're still watching nationwide on the network service of the NTA. And now to political matters. The All Progressives Congress, APC, is asking the people of Edo State to prepare for a better life as they support the party and its candidate, Pastor Osagize Yamu, in the September 19 governorship election in the state. It was at the flag-off rally of the party's governorship campaign in Benin. Ogochukwuka Ona reports.
It was a gathering of supporters from the nooks and crannies of the state. Right from the entrance of the venue to the sports complex, different groups registered their presence in solidarity with the party. The chairman, caretaker committee of the party, May Malabuni, presented the candidates to the people.
We are here to take back our mandate, to take back our state. 4 years ago, we were here, we have voted for APC, but we have no doubt in our minds we are going to vote for APC and return our mandate back to the state. From hamlet to hamlet, from village to village, from town to town, and within metropolitan Benin. From the crowd we have seen, we have to conclude that this election will be won by APC.
Pastor Sagi Zeyamo assured the people that they have nothing to worry about, as it will be progress all the way for them if voted in.
Let me assure you, never again will we have a governor as an ingrate. We will have a governor that will respect the people. Amen. A governor that will develop our states. A governor that will empower our people. Amen. And by the grace of God, I will do it.
The message from the immediate past national chairman of the party and former governor of the state, Adams Oshomole, is that the party's flag bearer will right the wrongs.
The business of governors and of government to empower the poor and elevate them to a position of dignity. When you have a governor who was unknown, who turned down on his people, if you turn down on your people, God will turn down on you.
The campaign team was also at the palace of the Oba of Benin to seek royal blessing.
I want to reiterate and re-emphasize that our 3 prayer points in the palace by logical extension means that the Benin throne is non-partisan. We must be father to everybody.
In Benin, Ogochkuka Ona, NTA News.
Similarly, the All Progressives Congress, APC, has expressed joy over the massive turnout and support of the people of Edo State at the party's National Campaign Council during Saturday's campaign flag-off of the party's governorship candidate, Pastor Ize Iyamu, and running mate Gani Audu ahead of the September 19 governorship election in the state. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
In a statement by its Deputy National Publicity Secretary, Yekini Nabena, says Edo electorate has sent a clear message on the governor's direction of the state, a progressive one which puts the people's welfare and interest first. The party particularly thanks the Oba of Benin, Oba Ewaye II, for the very warm reception and hospitality His Royal Majesty extended to the party's leaders during the courtesy visit to the palace. The statement also expressed gratitude to President Muhammadu Buhari for endorsing the APC governorship candidate, Pastor Osage Ize Iyamu, and charged the APC leadership to embark on issue-based campaign and win Edo State governorship election using all legal and constitutional means by avoiding the pitfalls that affected the party's victory in Rivers, Zamfara, and Bayelsa states during and after the 2019 elections. This the APC promised to achieve with a new and positive party disposition under the Governor Mimala Buni-led APC caretaker committee, while promoting Pastor Osage Ize Iyamu's 6-point agenda of security, infrastructural development, manpower development, public-private partnership, leadership and employment creation. Meanwhile, Director General of the Progressives Governors Forum, Lukman Mohammed, has appealed to the patriotic Nigerians and stakeholders of the All Progressives Congress to support the Mimala Buni-led caretaker committee. In a statement, the Progressive Governors Forum's DG says APC is the only political party with the potential of promoting progressive politics in Nigeria and wants measures that will promote seamless political contest within the party as a way to promote healthy political contest. As the APC moved towards having a national convention to elect new leaders, now is the time to collectively transform the party into a masses-oriented one with expanded membership, developing relationship with organized interest groups, the statement added. Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the presidency has responded to allegations by the People's Democratic Party against candidate of the APC for the Edo governorship election. Ruth Aguele has more.
The presidency has responded to the allegations by the People's Democratic Party on the candidate of the APC, Pastor Osage Izeyamo, for the Edo governorship election. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says the People's Democratic Party, which has been struggling to clear its name from alleged deals with the underworld in Dubai and the United States, has no voice to attack the anti-corruption war of the Buhari's administration, following the president's endorsement of Pastor Osage Izeyamo of the All Progressives Congress for the governorship election in Edo State. It further adds that the PDP has forgotten its own history and antecedents, following a statement by the PDP, and I quote, "The president ought to have been aware that a candidate is standing trial for corruption," end of quote, and then went on to attack the government's war against corruption, alleging its failure. The presidency said, let PDP first withdraw the governorship nominations it gave to Ahmadu Fintiri and Bala Mohammed of Adamawa and Bauchi states respectively, before lashing out on the efforts of this administration in fighting corruption, as both PDP governors were actually on bail from criminal trial on several counts of fraud and embezzlement. On July 1st, 2016, the former acting governor of Adamawa State, Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri, was granted bail by the Federal High Court, Abuja. He was charged on June 30, 2016, by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, alongside his company, Mayem Construction and Properties Limited, on a 5-count charge of money laundering to the tune of 2.9 billion naira. Also, in the case of Bala Mohammed, the governor of Bauchi State, on May 10, 2017, was arraigned before the Federal Capital Territory High Court, sitting in Gudu, Abuja, on a 6-count charge bordering on abuse of office, false declaration of assets, and fraud to the tune of 864 million naira. According to the PDP, the presidency says Pastor Izeyamo is being persecuted by the EFCC alongside Lucky Maswen, former deputy governor of Edo State, Chief Dan Obi, PDP chairman in Edo State, and other leaders of the party in the state, Tony Azigbemi and Efe Erimwoge. Under the country's law, the statement emphasized only the courts can convict. A suspect remains a suspect until conviction. But if, in the view of the PDP, a suspect is guilty as charged, then they must show examples by withdrawing the nomination of their governors and the party's numerous senators and other legislators standing trial in various courts of the country. This cleanup drive by President Buhari's administration, it added, will only speed up with the ongoing investigations and trials. The current administration's cleansing exercise of the government, politics, and economy, in line with the zero tolerance for corruption, will not be distracted.
The Benue State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has re-elected the chairman of the party, Sir John Gede, and all the executive members at the State Election Congress held at the Aperaku Stadium, Makurdi. Their re-election, the party says, follows the success recorded during the 2019 general elections, Godwin Inalegu reports.
The election was conducted under a peaceful atmosphere, with the Governor Samuel Otom, past and serving senators, members of the State and National Assembly, and other accredited members of the party participating in the ballot. The Governor, while assuring members of the party of his loyalty and support, debunked the claims of his planned return to the All Progressives Congress, APC.
And those of you who are not privileged today, in 2023, by the grace of God, you'll be privileged. So let us work together to ensure that we sustain the support that we have in the state.
Former presidents of the Senate, David Mark and Yochayu, and serving senators Abamoru, Gabriel Soswam, and Okejev all expressed support and confidence in Governor Samuel Otom to succeed.
I trust that the governor of Benue State, who is a righteous man, will ensure that the state in 2023 is in order.
The re-elected chairman of the party, Sir John Mbedi, promised to run an all-inclusive administration that will ensure the party remains deeply rooted in the state during his 4-year tenure and beyond. The State Election Congress also passed a vote of confidence on the governor, Samuel Otom. 372 accredited delegates participated in the election. In Makudi, Godwin Inalegu, NTA News.
The All Progressives Congress APC has been declared winner of the House of Assembly by-election for Nasarawa Central Constituency in Nasarawa State conducted over the weekend. The election, which served as a test run in the context of COVID-19, was described as a huge success as all the parties accepted the outcome of the election. Suraj Abdullahi reports.
This election was contested between the candidate of All Progressives Congress, Ismail Danbaba, and Nuhu Baba of People's Democratic Party, with APC candidate emerged winner, having pulled 7,475 votes as against 4,608 votes of PDP.
That Samaila Danbaba Suleiman of the APC, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
Every conduct was well, articulated and well acceptable by all the parties.
The result is very genuine and perfect. I congratulate Honorable Danbaba.
The security arrangement is in place. As you can see, there is no rancor here.
I'm fully satisfied with the INEC arrangement as far as what I'm seeing on ground.
I'm very impressed with what I've seen here.
They adhere strictly to the NCDC protocols.
The by-election of Nasarawa Central was scheduled by INEC to replace the seat of late Suleiman Adamu in Nasarawa State House of Assembly, who died in May as a result of COVID-19 related complications. From Nasarawa, Suraj Abdullahi, NTA News.
And that concludes our political update segment. We'll now head to Plateau State, where Governor Simon Lalong has flagged off distribution of palliatives, and Zinret is our guide. Hello, Zinret.
And thanks for joining us in Jos. Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong says his administration remains resolute towards alleviating the socio-economic impact of the coronavirus pandemic, especially among the most vulnerable citizens in the state. The governor said this during the flag-off of the distribution of palliatives donated by the Nigeria Private Sector Coalition against COVID-19. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
Aga Amok from Bassa, Mariamu McQueen from Bokos, and Gimbia Yahaya from Wasi, representing the northern, central, and southern zones of the state, are beneficiaries of the National COVID Food Relief Program. A bag of 5 kg semovita, 5 kg granulated sugar, 2 cartons each of noodles and spaghetti are to be distributed among 33,000 poor and vulnerable households in the state. National Chairman of CACOVID represented said CACOVID was launched to galvanize urgent support in the fight against COVID-19 in Nigeria, especially helping the vulnerable households that have been affected by the coronavirus pandemic.
CACOVID has laid out an elaborate plan to effectively and efficiently distribute the relief packages to the target beneficiaries across all 774 local governments areas in Nigeria.
Governor Simon Lalong expressed appreciation to CACOVID for high regards to the welfare of the people.
No doubt, the intervention of both the business community and the private sector is greatly assisting the government to cope with the huge challenges of managing the position.
Governor Lalong was then taken round the warehouse where the food items are kept for onward distribution in Jos. Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
Because the community in Jos north of Plateau State had in the past experienced incidences of flooding, leaving devastating consequences, this development, as well as the 2020 flood alert by the National Emergency Management Agency, which placed Plateau among flood-prone zones, informed the sensitization by the North Central Zone of the agency in the community. Cameron Kanang Ladoja has details.
The flood alert by NEMA revealed that 102 local government areas in 28 states in the country are at risk of flooding this year. As the rainy season intensifies, NEMA North Central decided to carry along residents of Rikos, a flood-prone community, on how to prevent floods, as well as evacuation strategies to safer grounds. There were talks from partners such as Red Cross, Plateau State Fire Service, and Plateau Environmental Protection and Sanitation Agency (PEPSA), where they all urged residents to stop building on waterways and avoid indiscriminate dumping of refuse.
Have an attitudinal change in dumping of refuse in waterways. As you can see, the rains have been falling since, so we need to conscientize ourselves and again to educate us on a daily basis on the seasonal rainfall prediction on a daily basis.
Instructional and educational materials were given to the community leader to help step down to other leaders and residents.
We'll put eyes and we'll put all the neighbors to see that no anyone come and put refuse here.
As part of the Enlightenment campaign, one of the refuse dumps in the area was evacuated by NEMA and its partners. In Jos, Ekemeren Kaneng Ladoja, NTA News.
That's it from Jos. There's still more on Nationwide with Naja Atu Tijani.
Thank you, Zinret. In view of the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, has expressed the need for urgent and frank conversation about judicial reforms, especially in the selection and appointment of judges in Nigeria, due to the multiple roles they play in social justice and democracy, among others. Speaking at the Justice Research Institute virtual roundtable themed Selection and Appointment of Judges, Lessons for Nigeria, the Vice President said the integrity of the judicial system is crucial to everything in the society, hence the need for stakeholders to engage in honest discussions which examine the challenges and prospects. The Vice President also noted that it would be unfair to pick out the judiciary alone for some of the failures in the nation's system of administration of justice, as the problem can be partly blamed on societal pressure on the Nigerian system of administration of justice. Lau, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity in the Office of the Vice President, Laolu Akonde, in a release said those who contributed to the discussion include the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, the Senate President Ahmad Lawan, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila. Justices from the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal from within and outside the country also spoke at the webinar. The President General Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar, says the Council and the Sultanate will continue to support the sustenance of peace and progress in Nigeria. The monarch was speaking while receiving the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. Dalhatu Abdullahi has the report.
Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar said as traditional leaders, they will continue to support the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari to further guarantee more success of his governance. He challenged Nigerians on tolerance and love for one another in spite of diversities. He commended the Inspector General of Police, other security chiefs, and the Minister of Police Affairs in containing security challenges in the country. The Sultan also enjoined Nigerians to continue to support and cooperate with security operatives, as security is everybody's business.
We pray to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring peace and stability to our various communities, our various states, and our country.
The Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami's son said he is at the palace to convey the president's appreciation of the Sultan's contributions in matters of security and peaceful coexistence.
The president has directed us to come over specifically to express his happiness and to further express his gratitude over all the support you have over time been extending to his government, with particular reference to security matters and associated suggestions that you have been rendering, which have proven very positive in establishing the desired peace in this country.
The Minister of Justice was led to the Sultan's palace by Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal. In Sokoto, Dalatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And now let's join Adebola in our Ibadan Network Center for more updates. Hello, Adebola.
Thank you, Naja. Good to see you. Welcome to Ibadan. The Ilorin International Airport has resumed domestic flight operations after adequate compliance with precautionary safety and health protocols. Olukemi Bisi Soni reports that COVID-19 protocols are duly followed by travelers and airport personnel.
Ilorin Airport has now reopened for commercial operations, having fulfilled the requirements for its reopening after more than 3 months of non-operation due to COVID-19 travel restrictions. Passengers arrive at the airport properly kitted with face masks and some with face shield and wash their hands. Hand sanitizers are also provided for passengers at the waiting hall, lounges, and before entering boarding gates. Airport workers check passengers' temperature, disinfect their luggage, while floor mats placed on the ground across entrances to the terminal building directs passengers to keep physical distance. Passengers' footwears are also sanitized and disinfected at the baggage claim area, with all COVID-19 protocols observed.
Everything is well organized. I'm impressed.
They really abide by the NCDC directives.
Only passengers with valid travel documents are allowed inside the terminal building.
We'll keep improving to see that things work as the protocols or the values improve. We'll keep improving to meet up all the standards.
The effective reopening of domestic flight operations in Ilorin will no doubt help to bring the economic activities of the state back in place. Olukemi Sani, NTA News.
Research has shown that when a baby is well breastfed, it helps guard against all forms of ailment and other viral infections. This was the submission of medical experts to expectant and nursing mothers in Ibadan to commemorate this year's World Breastfeeding Week. Omokende Igbari has details.
The World Health Organization, WHO, and United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, affirmed that it is imperative to protect, promote, and support breastfeeding for the health of the planet and its people.
Breast milk it fights antibodies, viral diseases, and the first breast milk that comes out is very, very useful for the baby. It contains a lot of antibodies, and we call it a cholesterol.
For the mother, it's been shown by research that breastfeeding lowers the risk of breast cancer, cancer of the ovary. Apart from that, a woman who breastfeeds is more emotionally connected to her baby, and vice versa.
With the annual sensitization, nursing mothers embraced exclusive breastfeeding
for 6 months and 2 weeks without giving anything. They should try and emulate the idea of doing exclusive for their child to enhance growth.
The theme for this year 2020 Breastfeeding Week is Support Breastfeeding for Healthier Planet, focused on protection and benefits derived from breast milk. In Ibadan, Omokende Igbari, NTA News.
Nationwide continues after this commercial break. Stay with us.
ICPC and NTA say you can help Nigeria to flatten the curve on COVID-19, just as you can help flatten the curve on corruption. Follow transparency, accountability, and integrity just as you follow health guidelines. Stay home with integrity and maintain your distance from corruption, just as you stay away from COVID-19 by maintaining social distance. Report every act of corruption to ICPC just as you report COVID-19 to NCDC. Stay away from corruption, stay safe from COVID-19. Report any act of corruption to ICPC on toll-free number 0800-2255-4272. This message is brought to you by ICPC and NTA.
Thanks for staying tuned. And now to security matters. The National Assembly has acknowledged the efforts of anti-banditry operations by the Nigerian military in the northwest zone of the country. This is coming on the heels of an oversight visit to the Nigerian Army Super Camp in Faskari, Katsina State by the Senate Committee on Army. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
Activities of bandits, kidnappers and cattle rustlers disrupting socio-economic life in the northwest geopolitical zone of the country has forced the military to delve into internal security to stem the tide. Exercise Sahel Sanity, organized by the Nigerian Army, which later transformed to real-time security operation, is one of such that is said to have recorded a lot of success. This has prompted the Senate and House of Representatives Committees on Army to embark on fact-finding mission to the Nigerian Army Super Camp 4 Faskari in Katsina State. Chairman of the committees, Senator Muhammad Ali Ndume and Abdulrazak Namdas, were briefed on some of the achievements of the ongoing operation that includes the rescue of 48 kidnapped victims, elimination of 81 and arrest of 78 bandits.
The Army has done a good job.
Armed with first-hand information, the legislators expressed their opinions on the operations to the media.
Have no cause to panic because farming activities is going on. The successes recorded in terms of arrest, recovery, and other activities is very, very commendable. I am very confident that this issue of banditry in the northwest is almost now a history.
For just a month, I think the Nigerian Army has recorded a lot of successes.
The special advisor to the Katsina State Governor on security was on a similar mission to the camp, where he pledged that the state government will continue to support the efforts of the military.
The security operations deserve commendation, deserve applause, and we are mobilizing members of the public to come to the aid of the military by giving them information. They should not shield the criminals.
The lawmakers also commended the high level of ingenuity in the Nigerian Army and promised to improve funding to the military from the Nigerian Army Super Camp 4 in Faskari, Katsina State. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has challenged cadets of the Direct Short Service Course 29 of the Nigerian Air Force to be resolute in protecting the territorial integrity of Nigeria. Abdullahi Muhammad reports from the passing out ceremony in Kaduna.
Orders, precision, discipline and agility, the symptoms of a world-class military training which these young cadets of the Nigerian Air Force underwent in the last 6 months. The arrival of the reviewing officer in a Scottish manner set the ball rolling for the passing out parade. Inspection of the parade by the Chief of Defense Staff in place of Mr. President and a challenge to the officers to go the extra mile in the discharge of their responsibility.
I expect that you will do your best to further enhance Nigerian Air Force efforts towards boosting quality health care for personnel, their dependents, and among residents of Nigerian Air Force host communities, including sustaining medical outreaches for civilians and victims of insurgency and banditry.
The 114 cadets who passed out comprise of professionals in the field of human and animal medicine, nursing as well as logistics. They were subsequently adorned with their ranks and set for a new vista in their lives after taking an oath of allegiance. In Kaduna, Abdullahi Muhammad, NTA News.
Similarly, the Nasarawa state government says it will sustain partnership with security agencies to address the challenges of infrastructural development for the protection of lives and property. Governor Abdullahi Sule stated this while inspecting construction work of the Mobile Police Training School close to Akwanga. Aliu Tijani Mohammed reports.
The school will serve as another training ground to equip officers and men of the mobile police force with requisite skills and knowledge to tackle crimes and criminalities. Governor Abdullahi Sule says citing the training school in Ndehu will end cases of robbery and kidnapping along the Akwanga-Lafia road.
When the police decided that they were going to site a project for the plateaus, and we have a couple of them in Nasarawa State, they did not select this particular spot. It is Nasarawa State government that selected this particular spot, which is in Nasarawa Igor local government area. This place used to be notorious, as I have mentioned, not only for accidents that have taken place, but for kidnapping and armed robbery.
Work in the school is nearing completion with inauguration expected in the coming weeks. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani Mohammed, NTA News.
Thank you, Aliu. Now let's join Abubakar in Maiduguri for more reports from that zone.
Good afternoon to you, Naja'atu, and thanks for joining us. The second meeting of the Northeast Governors Forum has ended in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, with a resolve to, among other things, work with the federal government to tackle the security challenges bedeviling the region and synergize with the Northeast Development Commission to produce a comprehensive strategic master plan to ensure sustainable development. Mohammed Goni reports.
The meeting by the Forum of Northeast Governors was a follow-up to the first one held in March this year in Gombe, hosted by Governor Inuwa Yahaya. Present at the Maiduguri meeting were governors of Adamawa, Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri, Bauchi Bala Mohammed, and the Gombe Mohammed Inuwa Yahaya, while Taraba and Yobe were represented by their deputy governors. Chairman of the forum, Borno State Governor Professor Wagana Umara, had laid emphasis on security challenges facing the region, problems of unemployment, over-dependence on federal allocation, and how to move the region forward. The governors, in addition to discussing security and development issues, also received presentation from the Northeast Development Commission, Laparge Ashaka, the NNPC, the Zone 15 Nigerian Police Force, and the Nigerian Army. Before the Maiduguri meeting, a technical committee comprising secretaries of government from the 6 states and focal persons from the Northeast Development Commission had deliberated for 4 days to come up with an agenda. As part of the 11-point communique issued at the end of Maiduguri deliberations, Borno State Governor Professor Wagana Umara was nominated as chairman to lead for 2 years, with Maiduguri as forum's headquarters. The forum had urged the federal government to support the armed forces and the Nigerian police with modern military hardware and manpower to secure the zone and defeat the insurgents.
The forum pledged to work together to foster regional integration, growth and development, especially in exploitation of its oil and gas potentials, mineral resources, agriculture and industrialization. The forum called on the federal government to revoke selected roads contracts awarded by Federal Ministry of Works for years without progress and re-award them to more competent contractors and firms to ensure timely completion.
The next meeting of the forum comes up on the 7th November 2020 in Yola, Adamawa State. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Towards mitigating the effect of flood being experienced in the state capital, Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara Zulum has visited various communities affected with a view to identifying lasting solutions to the perennial flood within Maiduguri Metropolitan Council and Jere local government areas. Here again is Mohammed Goni with more details of the story.
Communities visited by the governor include Dala, Dolori Tudu, Didari Polo, the Ledima area, All Maiduguri and Bulumkutu General area. On the governor's entourage was the State Commissioner of Environment, member representing Jere Federal Constituency, and other members of the State Committee on the Control of Flood in Maiduguri and Jere. During the visit, Governor Babagana Umara has directed the Ministry of Environment to ensure timely completion of a feasibility study, which will be used to provide lasting solutions to flood affecting the state capital. Governor Zulum had on 6 September 2019 directed a comprehensive research by the Ministry of Environment in collaboration with Center for Disaster Risk Management, University of Maiduguri. The governor, as a short-term measure, also directed for the silting of water ponds around Bulumkutu and Dala. Beside the flood assessment, the governor also inspected the construction of new mega school at All Maiduguri and the 10-kilometer road and drainage network in Jidari Polo. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
And those are the latest stories from Maiduguri. Najatu in Abuja has the last segment of Nationwide. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you, Abubakar. The House of Representatives Committee on Power has issued a 4-month ultimatum to the Transmission Company of Nigeria to complete abandoned power projects in the state. The chairman of the committee, Magaji Aliu, who led other members on an oversight visit to some power substations, says the committee is committed to the speedy completion of the projects. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
The visit by the House of Representatives Committee on Power to Kano State was sequel to the complaint by a member representing Nasarawa Federal Constituency, Nasru Ali Ahmed, over the abandoned power projects in the state. One of such is a 16-year-old 2x40 MVA power substation at Walalambi, which was awarded to address epileptic power supply but did not get desired attention.
This project must be completed by the first day of December 2020. The issue of funding, I think, is not a problem anymore.
We have done the job almost 30%. I'm sure 30%. So before maybe 8 months, we can be able to finish this job, inshallah.
Chairman Dao Aliu further stressed that Nigeria can only achieve the Siemens agreement if the substations are upgraded to standard. The committee also inspected the 2x150 MVA substation projects at Rimin Zakara, which have reached appreciable level of completion. The projects, when completed, will address the energy crisis being experienced in the state and improve the socio-economic well-being of Kano and Nigeria at large. Muhammad Rabiu Ali.
Juventus promotes under-23 coach to main team. Details on sports update with Amanzi Marcus.
Juventus goalkeeper Gianluigi Buffon has wished his former Italy teammate and new boss Andrea Pirlo good luck after his promotion as Juventus manager. He signed a 2-year contract and was named the club's under-23 manager on the 30th of July, less than a fortnight ago, replacing Maurizio Sarri, sacked after a round of 16 ouster in the UEFA Champions League. Juventus chief football officer Fabio Paratici revealed the appointment was based on the belief that Pirlo has what it takes to lead from his debut on the bench, an expert and talented squad to pursue success. We also believe he is predestined for greatness. In tennis, 23-time Grand Slam champion Serena Williams has added the French Open to her schedules for this year after last competing in the Fed Cup in February. As part of plans towards winning her 24th major at the August 31 to September 13 US Open, Serena Williams is set to play in the WTA Top Seed Open in Kentucky this week, with staying safe from coronavirus in her mind. I have like 50 masks that I travel with. I am super careful with what I've been doing, and everyone in the Serena bubble is really protected, she said. Defending champion Rafael Nadal and Nick Kyrgios have withdrawn from the US Open due to COVID-19, and so have the women's world number 1 Ashley Barty and the number 2 Simona Halep, amongst others. The sports update, Manzi Marcus, NTA News.
And that concludes the news on Nationwide. Thanks for watching. Keep observing COVID-19 protocols and keep standing against rape. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. See you next time.